It's amazing to have so many of you here. It felt terrible turning a lot of people away. Please tell your friends and family to come see the film. It opens tomorrow. It's sure to do spectacularly well. The reviews so far have been amazing. It's been, well, you all are here, right? Like, we're excited to be here, so you know about the buzz around the film. And it's such a pleasure to have you here to be able to talk to you about your writing and this project and how it came about. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about the relationship between the source material that you wrote and the finished film. How did you get involved with Barry Jenkins and how did this come together?
Well, hi, thank you guys so much for having me. I apologize, I've been talking all day, so my voice is not as present as it normally is. My name is Tarell, Alvin McCraney. I wrote the original script for In Moonlight, Black Boys Look Blue in 2003, the summer of 2003. And it's best to explain that summer in order to explain how that happened, or why that happened, I guess. Also, just know that I am like geeked out by sitting up here with these two distinguished scholars and artists. Their work has informed my work, has spoke to me as a student here. I was at DePaul University. I graduated in 2003. And that same Blue Demons. that same summer, I got accepted to the Yale School of Drama for playwriting, and I also lost my mother. After 10 years of battling HIV, she succumbed to AIDS-related complications that same, less than 30 days later after graduation. And on the heels of that, I was also invited by Peter Brook, a man named Peter Brook, who wrote Mahabharata and Lord of the Flies, to come and tour with him on this new play called The Suit. And the reason I'm telling you all this is because, to me, the juxtaposition of these things is what made In Moonlight, Black Boys Look Blue necessary. I was supposedly on the precipice of starting a fancy career. And I say fancy in the word of the meaning of fanciful or idyllic for some people. But my mother passing away and struggling for so long, the crack addiction that led her to her HIV diagnosis, the loss of the father figures in my life, I was trying to figure out why I was there. I felt like a survivor. I was having survivor's remorse. I did not feel like I belonged there. I did not feel like I deserved the things that were happening to me. I should have been at my mother's bedside when she gasped her last breath, and I was not. I was in Chicago, learning big things. So I began to write down memories, as many memories as I could, about the life that I had with my mother, the life that I had growing up as a kid in Liberty City in Miami, which is where Moonlight takes place, 305. And I put it away. And at the same time, I was writing a piece called The Brother's Size. So I knew that play was a play and deserved and would go out and do things with it. Moonlight was something that was for me. It was personal. It was never meant to be a quote-unquote play. It was always visually instincted. It always had these elements in mind. And I put it away. I literally put it in a corner, and sometimes I would drag it out and wrestle with it. And one time in a course at Yale, I brought it out and sort of put it together in a more concise. That's actually not the best word, because what happens is the original structure was circular. So take all three of those chapters that you saw, and overlay them. And that's how the original script was. You kind of bounce back and forth between all of those worlds, and watching these three different people and realizing that they were one life. Barry got a hold of that in around 2012, because there was a film corporation still is, called Borscht, a film company that was dedicated to bringing the expat Miamians who had gone off to become artists. Unlike Chicago, we have a huge brain drain, right? All of our talent goes to Chicago to become famous, or to New York, or LA. And we leave there and never come back with the cultural riches that we took from it. And so this group was really adamant about bringing those voices back. So they brought Barry back to do Chlorophyll after he did Medicine for Melancholy, which was his first feature film. And brought me back to do this piece called The Bus, but they also read In Moonlight, Black Boys Look Blue. And what I didn't know, or what August Wilson used to talk about all the time, which is that sometimes the play knows more about you than you know about it. And so the piece spoke to Barry because we grew up 3 blocks away from each other, never met each other. We were only 10 months apart in age. We went to the same schools, had similar friends, both became artists, and both had mothers who were drug addicts. Both had mothers who were HIV positive. And never knew each other until 3 years ago. And so he read this script and was like, who is this? He says it all the time. He's like, who? FBI
killing me something.
Yeah, the FBI done crept up on me somehow. They done infiltrated. So he talks about it in terms of, and he says often, and I quote him in saying that he says, Tarell took pieces of my memories and made them a dream. And I wish that were the case. I took pieces of my memory and turned them into the best shape of recollection that I could. And so he said, look, I see what you're trying to do here with this jumping back and forth in time. I see this is a memoir of a person. This is Sharon's story. Let me do what this Ho Shao Shin did in 3 times and do 3 chapters. I think we can give them the space that they need to live. And I said, okay, God be with you.